Good to see everyone here. I'm very, very grateful for this crew, and I'm just so excited tonight to be able to introduce our team here, our crew, our volunteer teachers, mentors, instructors. They've been doing such an amazing job over the last 9 months and from the beginning of this pandemic to do something miraculous, transformative, and impact. For the last 9 months, this group of young, bright artists has been volunteering alongside me every day, every week at Resin. And what we'll do, I'm just gonna kind of go into some background of how this show came together while we wait for everybody else to join in. And then I'll really jump into it and get the artists the opportunity to really share about their work. And so we've come together as this group to do something I've never seen before, which is young student artists giving back as a tribe to all the younger kids of our community, teaching them art, creative development, but also social emotional learning skills and the creative wisdom tools of embarking upon the tools and the spiritual toolkit of acceptance, awareness, forgiveness, compassion, intention, connection, these powerful, powerful tools that we know are going to be lifelong tools that all of the students that come here are going to be able to take with them. We have no idea what the world has in store for this next generation. They say that if a kid going into kindergarten next year, on average, will retire around 2080. But we don't know what the world's gonna look like in 5 years or 10 years. So the greatest thing we could possibly give these kids, since we don't know what their outside world is gonna look like, is tools to deal with the world on the inside. We can't change the outside, but we can absolutely change how this next generation experiences the world on the inside. And so that's part of the magic that this particular group of fine young artists has helped me and Aidan and Shelly bring into the world over the last 9 months. And I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes because I know a couple of people that wanted to jump on, and I'll wait for them to go. I'm gonna touch something on the other screen real quick. I'll be right back, and then we'll jump into it.
Am I better at portrait or landscape?
You're better landscape. Okay, just wanted to make sure that was working. All right, here we go. Okay. So, in official, that's Mika. My name is Raphael McMaster, and we are now officially doing quarantine. So, once I get my dog to not bark. So we're gonna kick this off by going around this room where we have different artwork from the different youth artist volunteer mentors, starting off with Miss Michelle Rember. So that'll be the first piece being featured. And if you want to pin so up in the corner of each of our squares, you'll see 3 little dots. And if you go to the one that says Aidan Morgan, and you click on the 3 dots, you can scroll down and you can pin. And his one is going to be the video that will be highlighting each of the pieces. There you go, you got that, nice. So go ahead and pin that one. So this is Michelle Rember. This piece is called this piece is called Floating at Peace. And Michelle, you're going to want to unmute. So Michelle, go ahead and unmute, perfect. Tell me what was going through your mind when you began this process of creating this piece?
Well, the concept of the composition itself wasn't really something that I had in mind at the very beginning. I think what I took inspiration from at the very beginning was the materials itself. This is actually a frame that is on glass, and I painted oil on glass, and I don't know why I thought that was a good idea, but it ended up turning out pretty cool. It's a different process. The composition, it doesn't have a specific special meaning to me. I think I think originally I had the idea of like making the glass kind of transform into the water, but it didn't end up working out that way. But I'm honestly happy with how it turned out. But the process of painting with oil is on glass is very different and challenging. It's like you have to use very really soft brushes, because if you go back over it with like a hard brush, it'll lift all of the paint. And then it's also just, it's more difficult to like transport from like locations, because if you scratch it, like all of the paint is going to come off.
Totally.
It does dry quicker, but it's still, it was a difficult process. But now I think the challenge of it inspired me to work on another one, because I'm currently working on another one that is also
Another one on glass? Oil on glass?
Yeah.
You like the challenge so much, you came back for another. That's awesome. I love that. And real quick, tell me, what has resin meant to you over these last 9 months?
You know, it's been a really hard couple of like 9 months. I think just not being able to see my friends all the time. But I think making friends at Resin has made it really, I guess, not necessarily easier during this time, but put me in like, just like, it's made me accept what's been going on a little bit more, because being able to have a space like this, I could never like have imagined myself being around such like creative but also like welcoming and accepting people. Because I feel like at school sometimes you don't feel like you're surrounded by people like that, and being able to do that more often because we're not in school has just like, I guess,
Awesome.
given me a little bit more confidence in my work.
Well, we love having you here. And I've watched firsthand as you have made such a huge difference in so many kids' lives. Oh, I've got nothing but love for you. And I truly appreciate you. Big time. Awesome. All right, with that, we're going to cruise on to the next artist, Miss Francesca Kula, Frantastic, as we call her. So this first one is called See Through the Room. So Fran, take it away. Tell us about this.
So this is a self-portrait I took, and with this process, I had an old picture of my room from a old concentration project that I was working on this year for my art class, and I have gone through a lot of self-exploration, especially in my room, because I'm stuck here half the time. And so through the process of this piece, I overlaid this photo, this self-portrait, on top of a picture of my room and changed the blending style in Photoshop. And I ended up getting this kind of like cool silhouette of my face blending into the background of my room, which I thought was really interesting. And it kind of means to me how I am a reflection of my room, and how my room is basically shows my whole personality, because as you can see in the background, there's all these photos that I've taken, and it's kind of like a blend of like what photography and art means to me through a bit of self-expression, and so
a reflection of itself happening in real time.
Yeah.
Okay, and so let's move on to the next one, which is also by her, which was also captured during pandemic. This one entitled Couple in the Hills, which I know this spot. So tell us about the spot. Tell us what this means to you.
Yeah, this is up in Palos Verdes. I was driving up there and I was about to leave, and I saw this couple. I noticed them when I got pulled. There's like a parking lot. It's like right before, I don't know how to describe it. Right before the big fountain and like the shopping area, there's like a parking lot, and there's the hillside. And I saw this couple when I got there, and I was kind of walking around, and I had my camera with me taking some landscape photos. And I was about to leave, and I saw this couple, and they were standing together, and I caught this moment of them kissing, and I was like, that is so sweet. I whipped out my camera, took a quick snapshot, didn't really think anything of it, but as the more I looked at it, the more I kind of fell in love with it. I feel like it's such a perfect representation of the close and intimate relationships that we've kind of lost, I feel like, with quarantine and being so separated from, I guess, our loved ones, our friends, but we're with our immediate family. So I feel like we can all appreciate this as something that is lost right now, but we can always come back to when all this is over.
Yes, love it, love it. And in quick, if you'd like to share, what has Resin meant to you in the last 9 months?
Resin has just become like a second home and a second family to me. I feel so welcomed and so appreciative of everything that you guys have all done for me. And it's just like one big family. And I'm very grateful for that. And I feel like I've never had anything like that. Especially during this time, it's really nice to have a group of people outside of my immediate family that I can turn to and spend my time with. So
Chosen family, we're here. We're here. This is awesome. Awesome. Love you, Fran. As we go on to the next piece, this is Miss Olivia Stiskel's ward. This piece is entitled Everything is Watching. We had the joy of getting to watch her create this piece here, which was awesome. We loved it. Olivia, tell us more about the piece.
Yeah, so this one is more of like an exploration of my mind rather than like materials. Because for me, like this was kind of more of an abstract piece, and I'm like kind of a perfectionist when it comes to art. So this like was recently after I joined Resin, and everyone around me like really inspired me to be creating like more expressionistic art and not necessarily like perfect portraits, stuff like that. So with this piece, I wanted to really kind of go out of my comfort zone and use different colors and stuff and textures to create a piece that I wasn't necessarily having like an end goal and wanted to make it perfect, but just like enjoying the process and like really slowing down and like just like enjoying my art making. So yeah, that's kind of it.
Awesome. Awesome. And tell me, what's been your experience? What has Resin kind of meant to you over these past pandemic months?
Yeah, well, Resin, like I said, it when I first joined, like everyone is just so uplifting. Like as soon as you step into the building, you see all of this art, and it's just really inspiring to see so many, like especially volunteering, like all the kids moving around you. It just really contributed to my self growth and like just developing my style and being like comfortable and with my art and like showing it to people and stuff. So it just has really helped me.
Awesome. And you're totally thriving here, and we love having you here. And my dog is saying hi to someone. Okay, next. Give me just one moment. So sorry. Okay, furry technical difficulties. It's all gonna work out. And coming up next is Miss Amelia McRae. There she is, Miss Fantastic. This piece is a self-portrait. You want to tell us more about this piece?
Yeah, so within the last few months, kind of echoing everything that Fran and everyone else has kind of talked about, is during this pandemic, I've spent a lot of time alone with myself and my thoughts, learning more and more about myself as each day passes. And, especially with what we've been doing with creative wisdom tools and applying these tools to our daily life, that has just been, it's kind of furtherance. I'm not sure if that's a word.
It is now.
And so I tried to reiterate how I felt about myself while incorporating a little bit of realism, a little bit of self-study into this, but also, different aspects of just how I felt about the world around me, considering the colors that I put into it.
A lovely piece. We love having you here. And I think you have the next piece as well. If you want to cruise over. This is Fruition of My Healing. And for anyone who's interested, I'm putting the additional information and prices of these pieces into the chat if you want to look. Amelia, tell us about this one.
So Fruition of My Healing is actually a second piece in this kind of trilogy that I've unintentionally created. So this piece is, about my recovery from hardships in my life that I have unfortunately had to deal with. And, again, added with the pandemic and everything, spending a lot of time alone, I felt that I almost needed to reconnect with my inner child in order to heal myself. So as a kid, I was very interested in mystical things, particularly unicorns and things that were a little bit odd. So I tried to incorporate those things into my piece.
Awesome. Awesome. We love having you here. You're a truly, truly special and deep soul. And it shows in your artwork and all the symbolism and everything. And you're one of those deep souls where I think you're gonna see all the symbolism that you've put into your paintings now. And then it's like 5 or 6 years later, you're gonna turn around and look and be like, oh, wow, that's exactly what that was about, even more so. Anyway, awesome. And this piece and the next piece, which is by Miss Fiona Dowdy, entitled Gazing, both of these pieces were featured in, I believe, the Daily Breeze and the Beach Reporter, which is awesome. Okay, Fiona, take it away. Tell us about this.
Okay, so this piece, I was inspired by a camping trip that I went on with like 2 people that I love most in this world. And when we were there, we saw one of the most beautiful sunsets, and it was kind of like a connection moment for me where I realized that like that feeling of love that you can feel for a person, you can also feel towards nature and towards a view. And so I wanted to paint that moment. And so I actually painted, it's a photograph that my very close friend, Emmy, who's actually in this Zoom, took. And then it's me and someone that I love looking at this sunset. So, yeah.
Awesome. And I don't know, tell us what your experience has been like here over the last 9 months.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, I've been like working for Resin and for the youth classes for a really long time. But recently it's kind of like taken off and taken on a new form of energy that's like 10 times better. And, you know, everything from getting to be a part of such a wonderful community to getting to teach these fantastic, smart kids, and then learning myself from the tools and from the kids and from you, Raphael, is just like, has all been so amazing and helped to make this pandemic and this lockdown so much easier than it would have been.
Yes. And you've added a very, very special, cool, amazing, important, impactful part that I'm grateful to say that I see conversations every day from you and all of this team, this crew, to these students where they're open-minded and available and listening to new ideas that are growing them. And it's a really beautiful thing to see. Awesome.
Thank you.
Fiona. Coming up next, one of our newest members, which honestly, she might be one of the funniest people I've ever met. And she is just that bright and that witty and brilliant, Miss Delilah Bright. This piece is entitled Decimation. Tell us about it.
Hi, I'm Delilah Bright. Thank you. I'm the designated clown. I was thinking about Mother Earth, and if she had a sister, would that sister be as forgiving? And so this is basically the mother of Saturn destroying all developing sentient beings before they can like rot the planet. So
I had no idea that's what that was about. That's amazing.
it's kind of like the end of the world, but on a different planet.
Yes, yes, love it. And the next one is Equipose by you as well.
Yeah. This is just about ebb and flow and push and pull. Like there's a distribution of power and goodness. And I've seen a lot of that, like distribution of knowledge between kids and teachers and kids. And in general, like I've learned so much just being in California this matter of months about the universe and energy flow. And I'm seeing it with fresh eyes and saying, oh my God, this is crazy. And this is kind of my representation of that push and pull.
So you moved here from the Northeast, I believe, 6 months ago?
8 months, yeah.
8 months
but
ago. What has surprised you? What has surprised you about what you've fallen into over here?
It feels like a utopia, honestly. And I think a big part of that is Resin. I owe Resin everything because in the space, I learned that it wasn't only possible for me to fully embrace myself, but it was crucial. And doing so, I've learned so much about myself. And I feel like if I met who I was before I joined Resin, we wouldn't really vibe. Like we wouldn't be best of friends, because I've like grown so much, and like I understand myself and I understand other people better because of the way we approach like getting to know everyone and like making that effort to not put anyone in a box.
Awesome.
So thank you, Resin.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So Aidan, if you want to go to that next piece, which is mine, I'm just going to use this as a moment to take a quick sip of water and do my quick PSA here, because I look around this room of amazing young artists, and I just want it to be known, and Kate Heredia, who's on here, the art teacher from Miracosta, she'll back me up on this. We didn't pursue to be an all women's group. Like we were open, you know, to everyone, and this makes me realize that we have no like male artists here. And that was supposed to be a joke. It didn't land very good. But anyway, if you know young male artists, Macy McCuin's gonna join. We need some more men here. It didn't really dawn on me until I looked and just saw like all beautiful young females, which is great and amazing. And we're going to expand it. We'll manifest it in this moment. Male young artists, here we go, male young artists. Okay, going on, this next piece is by Miss Linnie McRae. This one's entitled November Shadows. Linnie, are you on here tonight? That's okay, we record it and we'll be able to send it to her. It's a really, really wicked, awesome piece. She's new to the group as well. You know what, one of the things that I'm really proud of what we were able to achieve as a nonprofit was in August, we did a fundraiser where we reclaimed the boarded up windows from all of downtown Manhattan Beach to do a fundraiser for social justice. And part of the proceeds went to the Social Justice Learning Institute, and the other half of the proceeds went to a nonprofit that helps get resources and supplies and materials and support to women of color who are pregnant and don't have support and insurance. And we met Linnie through that. She was donating pieces for that cause as well. And she's also an art teacher professionally. And she teaches at a school. She Zooms and whatnot, Beverly Hills. But then she comes here on her one day off from the week. On the weekday, she comes here to volunteer on Mondays. And we just think that's amazing. She's an amazing asset and value and member of our community. So thank you to that. This next piece, why don't you go ahead and put it on. Here, let me, you go on this one. So what we have here, what Aidan is showing is photography that was shot by one of our students, Kira Nojima. Kira, who's now 11, was my very, very first student like 5 or 6 years ago. So I've been working with her since she was much younger. She's incredible. One of our students, Nate Williams, wanted to do this experiment of breaking the TV as an art. And then Kira shot matter photography. And this exemplifies the type of free-minded curiosity and imagination that we support and invite and inspire. You know, these kids come in here and here's all these materials and helpers, and whatever it is they want to try, the answer is like, yes, that's a great idea. Let's do it. Let's do it. And I'm just really, really proud of that. You know, one of the instrumental childhood memories that I believe is a major contributor to me taking this path, you know, founding a nonprofit and wanting to teach is I was in after-school program, an after-school art program, and I was just pouring out the paint, just following my heart, and I was spreading the paint around on these canvases. And the guy came around, the art counselor, art teacher, he was like, "What are you doing? You're wasting all the paint." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm wasting paint. That's bad. I'm wasting." And I felt so ashamed by it, right? I kind of got shamed by this guy. My dad comes to pick me up, and I'm kind of in the corner, like not, and he's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I told him, he said I was wasting paint and everything. And my dad lost it on this guy, but in the best of ways. And I've never seen my dad get upset at anyone. This is the one time I can remember him getting upset. And it's because this guy was telling a young little mind, you're wasting paint. And there he is right now. There's my dad wave. Me and my dad play a game, the smile and eye contact game. And every time we smile and make eye contact, we count a point and we connect with each other. But now that's recently turned into a game that we do with our Creative Wisdom Tool students, right? So they get the homework to go an entire week, and whoever gets the most smile and eye contacts, you mark it, you mark it, you mark it. The winner got a surfboard that they could paint. Let me get one of their sheets. $1,211 different smiles and eye contacts and people that have been affected. Anyway, I just think it's so awesome. Cool. All right, going on to the next one. Okay, and this next one is by Miss Amelia McRae once again. This one is entitled, this one's one of my favorites. You Are My Sunshine. I love, love, love this piece. Amelia, tell us about it.
So this was my first piece in my unintentional trilogy. It was also the largest oil painting piece and second oil painting piece I've ever done. So, I'm pretty proud of it. This piece was particularly important to me because it played a major role in sorting out a certain experience I had, and it was shown through the details and the symbolism of the sun and the torn up legs in the back, as well as the evil eye, the clock, and the vegetation that is surrounding both of these characters. Also, I kind of found my art style in this piece. And so it was definitely a major breakthrough for me in my art. So yeah, thank you.
It is an awesome, awesome, ownable style and unique and ownable voice. I'm so excited for you. Tell us, because we're a little bit ahead of schedule. If you have a second, tell us what Resin's meant to you over the last years. You've been volunteering before anyone.
Yeah.
You're the very first volunteer, maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah, I've been volunteering at Resin for as long as I can remember throughout high school, and just the way that it has changed over the years is incredible. I mean, you would have thought it was a completely different space just even a few months ago, even maybe. It's always changing, always progressing, always getting better. More than anything, what this space means to me is knowing that there are other artists that I can rely on in this community and be supported by, but also that I have an opportunity to be able to be the mentor that I always wanted when I was a kid. So it's really, really special to me.
We love you. You were awesome. You were awesome. You were
Thank
such a
you,
gift to
guys.
this community. Rooting for you so much. Awesome. All right, the next one is Miss Delilah Bright again. Oh, this was the very first. This is entitled Symbiotic Suffering. This was the very first piece we hung in the entire show. Yeah, Delilah, talk to us about it.
So this piece was based on the interconnectedness that coronavirus revealed, because now we can see how truly tied we are. We can trace this web of this disease, and it's crazy because now we have a clear example of how we impact each other so immensely. So the necks are tied because they are two different subjects, and one is facing the truth and seeing the impact we have, and the other denies that and it's looking away. And the faces surrounding are everyone who lies at the hands of the two subjects, based on whether or not you choose to acknowledge the impact you have on other people in their lives.
Yes. Yes. I'm glad I had that recorded. You're a little rock star. I love you. That's Mika agrees. She agrees.
Thank you, Mika.
So good. Yes. Awesome. Let's see here. Next up is Linnie Maki's another one of hers, Submersion, which is just awesome. We love her style, and just she's the sweetest person. We're so lucky to have just such kind, generous. I mean, to talk to service real quick, to speak to the level that this team has been volunteering, right? We have 9 artists here, right? And we're showing also 3 students tonight, and we're also going to feature 2 new members to our community that we just want to highlight and share with you. But for the volunteers, on averaging, they were volunteering around 120 hours a month, right? Some as many as 350 hours, 120 hours for the 9 months, and as many as 350 hours for the entire 9 months, right? And we did the calculations here. There's roughly around 2,500 volunteer hours between all of us over the last 9 months. That's service. That's giving of ourselves. That's connecting to other people. And through this like very specific time where the social emotional imprint of this time on the development of young minds is inescapable. It makes it all the much more reason that during this time, like this group was volunteering week after week, day after day after day after day here is awesome. And to have that heart of service be part of who we are, that's just such a great gift that's gonna serve us right now in this moment and all the communities that we move on to. Awesome. Okay, on to the next piece. We're very, very excited about it. So this is one of the 2 artists we just wanted to feature, who's been here throughout the summer, been as part of the pandemic, part of our quarantine. This is Miss Eleni Tavlaritis. This one is entitled Rockstar Made 27. Tell us about this piece.
So I was pretty much inspired by music when I was making this piece because I was listening to this song. It's called Rockstar Made. It's by Playboy Cardi. But it kind of like reminded me of like a Hollywood melodic feel, and I also incorporated 27, which is like the 27 Club. And I didn't really have a direct plan for this piece. I kind of just felt it out as I went on. And then once I finished the spray paint part, Raf suggested that we resin it. So I was able to resin that piece.
That was the first piece you
with
resin,
a little
right?
bit of help, but mainly myself. Yeah, that was the first piece I resined. So yeah, I really enjoyed making that a lot. And pretty much it was very like Hollywood melodic inspired, kind of like a dark twisted cloud of red. I don't know.
And I love the colors. And you know, what's your story with here in Resin, right? You moved here how long ago? And what was your story in the summertime? You had just moved here right in pandemic.
Yeah, I just moved here in the pandemic in May, early May. It was like May 12th. And
From where?
Well, I'm originally from Washington and New York, but I was in school in Philadelphia, and people had went home from school. So I was looking for a change in pace of like my creativity and opportunities. And I realized a few people that I knew were going back to LA. So I moved there. When I got there, I was kind of in search of a place to create. And that was until a couple weeks in, my friend Trevor, who I actually know from college, had introduced me to Raf, and we went to the art studio. And as soon as I got there, I was ecstatic. I couldn't even believe that he'd taken me there. And it definitely changed my life, like 100%.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. We love having you part of the crew. Excited to see you more. Excited to get you into the Creative Wisdom program. We'll see you next Thursday.
Sure.
Awesome. All right, so this next one is, so this is one of our students, Haley. So here's how this went down. She wasn't one of the volunteers, but we had a couple extra spots. So last second, we reached the circle of artists that were there and said, let's pick our 3 favorite for the spaces we could fill. So this is one of our 3 favorites. So Haley, if you're on here still, great work. Obviously.
Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. And we love having you here. Hope to see you again. And it's got to feel cool. Like, you never shot for this. Haley didn't even know that there was a show until like literally like 20 minutes ago. We're like, hey, by the way, like yours was chosen. So it's a celebration of that. Good work, Haley.
Thank you so much.
All right. So this is another one of Eleni's piece. This one is her magical mushroom skate deck. Tell us about it.
So I really like skateboarding, and I also like mushroom motifs. So I wanted to incorporate both of them into one smaller scale piece of a skate deck, because Raf had a few blank skate decks laying around, and I was like, holy shit, I wanted to do something on one. And this one was probably my first one that was like very well planned, because usually I kind of go into the process like very chaotically, but I wanted to like be very precise with my designs in this one. So as we went on, we'd like make adjustments, but overall, I was inspired just by the motif itself, how graphically pleasing it looks, very clean. And I'm very inspired by the sky as well. So, and skateboarding. So it was just like a very fun piece to do and work on it with Raf.
It's all those pieces. It's very you. It's all the different pieces coming together into a physical manifestation. Awesome. Awesome. This next piece is by a new artist that we're excited to begin bringing her more into the collective and participating with us more. Her name is Isis Dua, and she's going to bring just a totally another energy, and I'm excited to introduce her to all of you. I don't believe she's here tonight. Yes. So, okay, and then we've got this one last piece behind me. And so this piece behind me, it's great because I had painted it about 10 years ago and it didn't have its right home. And it's finally found its space here. And one thing that we love is that hidden inside of it are the different chakras. And so right as we placed this new piece in, we made the decision that our Creative Wisdom Tools students 3.0, meaning the students that are going through it a third time, their lessons instead of the tools are going to be going through each one of the chakras and learning about them and reframing them in Western thinking as instinct, illumination, intention, inspiration, interaction, imagination, and intuition. So that's the magic that we're doing here. That's it, that's all. So I think what we could do, it's telling me my internet is unstable. I think what we could do, if you want, is if you guys have questions, we could go into, Q&A type of thing. If you have questions specifically, here, why don't we do this? If you have a question for any of the artists, I guess you can just unmute and ask them. Just unmute and ask them. We'll just take it really natural and we'll just kind of see how it goes, and I'll just play moderator. And if you have no questions, that's okay too. That's totally okay too. So Kate, what do you think? You think you want to send me some more of your next wave of awesome artists?
Yeah, I love it. This is awesome. I'm so proud of all you guys.
And so much of this happens because of Kate. So Kate is the one who flagged these great young minds at Miracosta.
Thank you, Kate.
No, you get all the credit. This is amazing.
Well, cool. If you guys are cool with it, that's a wrap by me. Is that a wrap? Is that a show? Yeah? All right, round of applause.
Thank you.
Round of applause for you.
Thank you.
Okay. All
Love
right.
you guys.